File GOI-3 Kingdom of Abaddon locked. Enter authorization code
456123. Shadows on the Dunes 0948390. Group of Interest File 003. Designation Kingdom of Abaddon. Threat level very high. Activity level very high. Priority level 5. Summation GOI-003 Kingdom of Abaddon is a collection of hostile, anomalous humanoids currently located somewhere in the Sahara Desert at a location referred to in their manuscripts as the Citadel of our God King Abaddon. These humanoids appear similar to humans in a number of ways, but all instances appear to be at least Class 1 reality-bending entities, with higher-ranking individuals reaching Class 3 and Class 4 classifications. Due to their anomalous qualities, capture and containment of these instances is impossible, and attempting to do so is often exceedingly dangerous. Initial discovery GOI-003 was initially observed by French military personnel in 1912 during an investigation of attacks against a small village in northern Libya. The military convoy was ambushed, resulting in the deaths of 80% of the contingent. Survivors reported an attack by no more than 6 sorcerers who were capable of flight and resistant to firearms. These survivors and superiors who witnessed their account were amnesticed and released. Foundation personnel first encountered GOI-003 during an attempted raid on a Broken God warehouse in southern Egypt, when MTF Alpha 4, No Borders, was attacked by a group of anomalous individuals matching the general description given by the French military members. MTF Alpha 4 was successful in repelling these forces and managed to capture a lower-ranking individual. After processing and interrogation, the true nature of the Kingdom of Abaddon was realized, and the Foundation Central Command began taking steps to protect the Foundation from the anomalous group. According to gathered data, the Kingdom of Abaddon was originally a group of reality-bending entities from Arabia who sought to carve out a nation of their own within the inhospitable Sahara. Because of their nature, they were able to adapt the harsh landscape to their needs and use the terrain to keep intruders away. Over time, their numbers grew, and new births were brought before the ruler of the kingdom, God King Abaddon, to be changed into additional reality-bending entities. However, due to inbreeding and other genetic malfunctions that plague their society, GOI-003 is particularly fragile and will likely not last on its own as an independent organization for any longer than 20 years. Collected data implies that Abaddon is aware of this and is taking steps to assure its future. To this end, a number of Foundation facilities in and around the African continent have come under attack by Kingdom of Abaddon aggressors who have cost the Foundation no fewer than 75 lives thus far, and who have stolen at least 12 different items. Conclusion: because of the danger and difficulty involved when confronting Kingdom of Abaddon aggressors, and because of the lack of information regarding their activities, it is advised that no personnel attempt to engage any group without backup from a heavily armed military contingent. Research into developing methods to combat Abaddon forces is ongoing.
Memorandum 001-Alpha locked. Enter authorization code
71059222. 2. The eyes of an unforgiving God. 0981478.
Date: November 29th, 1924. User: Omega 5-1. Subject: 001. We did it. Then, we managed the impossible. We spat in the face of God, and took his throne for our own. It is a glorious new day. 5 was right about spreading the anomaly around the group. Even with all of the reinforcements we had made to the previous test subjects, the amount of energy that managed to pump into their bodies was too much. Can't tell you how many D-class we had to clean up off the floor after watching their skin melt off their bones, and their bones carbonize and blow away like dust. Dozens? Hundreds? I don't know. More than we were expecting, and more than the Foundation was willing to allow, even for a project like this. 13 has expressed regret over what we did in San Marco, but 13 is short-sighted, and the administrator is short-sighted. The deaths of a few, even the deaths of many, in order to protect the world from annihilation? It is nothing, and less. Those children are gods now. Their lives committed to a higher purpose. What life is better than that of the omnipotent? Testing begins tomorrow. Can you hear it? Project Report 001 Delta locked. Enter authorization code
7585832. Do you hear the screaming? 8572937.
Memetic kill agent neutralized.
Project Twins of God progress report. Research team Omega 5. Project date January 17th, 1926. Progress report. The 9 entities collectively known as Item 001 are currently contained within the fortified bunker at Testing Site 1 while undergoing testing. The entities, while functional in their purpose, display no higher brain activity. Despite this, the group collectively is capable of processing information and following orders given by individuals, allowed within the memetic control cycle that all instances routinely undergo. All instances are currently a Class 5 radioactive hazard, and personnel are restricted from coming within 1 kilometer of Item 001 instances without the proper anti-rad protection equipment. The gamma radiation emitted by Item 001 appears to come randomly between individuals, but when brought together resembles patterns made by conscious human beings on EEG machines. Despite the resemblance, these patterns are more sporadic and inconsistent than what is usually observed in such situations. Item 001 are capable to collectively channel enormous amounts of energy from a currently unknown extra-dimensional source, and use this energy to unbind atoms at a quantum level. This allows for the nearly imperceptible annihilation of any object at any distance, so long as the object and location is described in some detail to Item 001. Below are the Item 001 test results for January 17th, 1926. Test Series 023. Object Item 001. Research Team Omega 5. Testing Goal: establish an outer limit for Item 001's area of effect. Round 1. Target object steel rod placed 5 kilometers from Item 001. Item 001 instructed by Operator Dr. Omega 5 Team Leader to destroy target object. Result: target object vaporized shortly after Item 001 received orders to do so. No quantifiable amount of target object remained post-test. Round 5. Target object steel rod placed 800 kilometers from Item 001. Item 001 instructed by Operator Dr. Omega-5 Team Leader to destroy target object. Result: target confirmed vaporized shortly after Item 001 received orders to do so. Distance appears to not be a factor. Longer range test planned in next series.
The children are operating as designed. I have little doubt that they will serve their purpose when the time comes. They are unwavering, unfeeling, seemingly indestructible, and need only a word before sending death flying across the universe. Truly, this is a weapon built for only the boldest of men. 05-1.
Test Series 025. Object Item 001. Research Team Omega-5. Testing Goal: establish a maximum and minimum size of effect over distance. Round 2. Target object steel sphere 3 meters in diameter, placed 1,000 kilometers from Item 001. Item 001 instructed by Operator Dr. Omega-5 Team Leader to destroy target object. Result: target object vaporized as expected. Round 3. Target object Church of the Broken God worship site in Turkey is 11,500 kilometers from Item 001. Item 001 instructed by Operator Dr. Omega-5 Team Leader to destroy target object. Result: target vaporizes. No additional damage noted to surrounding area. Witnesses to event were administered a Class A amnestic and held for additional testing. Test demonstrates that individuals or groups of individuals must be targeted, as targeting a location is not enough to result in their annihilation. Round 7. Target object male human, age 33, located roughly 11,500 kilometers from Item 001. Item 001 instructed by Operator Dr. Omega-5 Team Leader to destroy target object. Result: target vaporizes.
Collected Foundation correspondences and notices locked. Enter authorization code
000248 Vigilia Oculos 478161.
Memetic kill agent neutralized.
February 1st, 1926. To Omega-5 Team Lead from Administrator Fritz Williams. I have heard the good news of your success with Project 001, and cannot express to how important this is. We will finally be able to put an end to Abaddon, and be able to better protect ourselves in the future. To this end, I am eternally grateful. However, I must admit my concerns about you, specifically 05-1. Your recent letters have been troubling, in spite of your successes. I have no doubt that you are the most qualified man to lead the Omega team, but I understand if the stress of the endeavor has taken a toll on you. I know it has with me. Regardless, once this is all over, I'm prepared to promote you to Director of the newly constructed Site-19, after you've taken some time to reciprocate. Of course, we can discuss the details when I see you next month, once we've taken care of Abaddon. Sincerely, Administrator Fritz Williams.
Memetic kill agent neutralized.
February 14th, 1926. to Foundation Central Command from Omega-5 Team Lead. I am fine, Administrator. The project is finished. We will complete our task when you arrive. 1.
Mimetic kill agent neutralized.
General notice. All personnel. Redacted by Overseer Order. Issued by Foundation Central Command. Date: March 21st, 1926. Subject: Administrator Fitzwilliams. Foundation Administrator R.D. Fitzwilliams has been murdered. A general warrant has been released for the capture of his killer and his killer's accomplices. Doctor, 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 and Agent. These individuals are believed to be armed and highly dangerous, and may possess a number of dangerous anomalous items. If you have information regarding the location of these individuals, please report directly to your site director. A transitory council of administrators has been created, consisting of senior staff members from the Omega-5 research team, by order of the late administrator. This council will oversee Foundation operations until such a time as a new governor can be established.
Mimetic kill agent neutralized.
General notice issued by Foundation Central Command. Date: March 22nd, 1926. Subject: dissolution of GOI-003 investigatory teams. Notice: the following Mobile Task Force investigatory teams are currently considered inactive and are to report to Site 17 for debriefing. Mobile Task Force Alpha 1, All the King's Men. Mobile Task Force Alpha 2, Red Right Hand. Mobile Task Force Alpha 3, Harvard Boys. Mobile Task Force Alpha 4, No Borders. Mobile Task Force Alpha 5, Band of Brothers. Mobile Task Force Alpha 7, Dark Testimony.
Mimetic kill agent neutralized.
November 1st, 1926. To Overwatch Command. From Director Harrison, Site 23. Subject: Site 23 Scouting Report. My boys just came back with the reports. I'll send the pictures they took along with this letter. But I can't believe it's all gone. Just desert that goes on for an eternity, like they were never even there. I had them check, and you were right. No bodies. There shouldn't be any, should there? Regardless, I don't know what devil you had to make a deal with, but thank you. Harrison.
You have not accessed this terminal in 3 minutes. Do you require assistance?
Better do this now, I think. Better to get it done while I can still remember it all. It's been a long time since I read this file. Longer still since that night in 26. It's been too long since people knew the truth of what we did, and what happened to Abaddon, and One, and the Administrator. Hell, if the amnestics have held up, I might be the only one left. I have no intention of taking it to the grave with me, not this. One always was charismatic, that much is on record. That's why the Fitzwilliams gave him the lead of Omega-5 over 2, even though 2 had been with the Foundation longer. That's not to say that One wasn't smart. On the contrary, he was one of the more brilliant researchers I had ever worked with. Even after all this time, He penned most of the reports for the work that Omega-5 did, even before we were a full-fledged team. Back when we were just a handful of junior researchers out of Site-17. He was eloquent and passionate and driven. He was also so detached. He loved his work, don't get me wrong, and the research was his greatest desire. But the direction of the Foundation, the stress of containment, he had no love for. He said to me many times that we were underutilizing our assets, that we could provide better containment of anomalies if we weren't so afraid of them, afraid to use some to contain others. He was the original designer of the Thaumiel classification, of course. Him and Epsilon 2 research team. I think that's why he was so eager to jump at the chance to do what we were doing with 001. It was unprecedented, the 001 project, but then so is Abaddon. The logs here don't give the half of it, and the rest has been lost to history. With Abaddon, we were wildly, hilariously outmatched. A group of decently funded scientists and armed guards against a small army of type greens, and we didn't even see the worst of them. Class 2s and 3s were more than a match for the best we had to offer, and this was nearly a half-century before we'd see the first Scranton anchor. Some reports claimed that the ruler was a Class 5. If true, then he could have blinked us off the map if he wanted. Abaddon was responsible for the complete destruction of 3 sites in 1922 alone. He wasn't just in sub-Saharan Africa either, although we certainly didn't publicize that. There was kingdom activity as far north as Gibraltar and as far south as Madagascar. They would enter sites, destroy everything, and leave with just a few objects, shred the records too. And what were we to do? We had only just begun classifying reality vendors, let alone combating them. Were they to make it to one of the larger sites in Europe or the Middle East, and it would have been a bloodbath. If you're listening to this, then you've read the logs about 001. You know what it does, how we built it. The gun to end all guns. A weapon crafted out of human bodies and fire that could annihilate anything, anywhere, at any time. All with just a brief description. One was fascinated by it, by them, the children. I can still hear them screaming while we put them in the machine and pulled their souls out and replaced it with something else. But it worked, and one was so proud. Then the time came to finish our task. The administrator flew in from 17, one of a handful of times I'd ever seen him in public. As exciting an event as it was, the air was thick with solemnity. We all knew the gravity of our task, understood that we were sentencing hundreds to death. I think that if we thought there was any other option, we might have shied away from the edge, but while we watched, one approached the glowing children and spoke the activation words. They were glorious, in a way, the perfect balance of raw energy and human form. He leaned into them and spoke the name of Abaddon Citadel, and then they burst with light, and it was over. We had no way of knowing whether or not it had worked, other than what we had seen in other tests, and yet it felt finished. There was a feeling like a collective breath had been released. Then Fitzwilliams disappeared, his clothes and protective gear falling to the ground in a heap, and his gunfire filled the testing chamber with smoke. We saw one sprinting towards an emergency exit, and 001 glowing again. After this, it was all a rush. A quiet ride back towards our bunker, as mobile task force teams rushed in to contain 001. A quick debriefing with other command officials, questioning searches. It all blends together. One was gone, of course. They didn't find him. And they never did. He wasn't the only one who left. 4 other members of our team alone went with him. A number of other junior staff members. And then about half of the senior staff at Site 15 defected. All disappeared without a trace. Items, too, right out of their cells. They discovered later that it was a long time in the making, and one had helped foster the 001 project just to meet this end. We buried the children deep beneath San Marco, covered them in about 50 meters of concrete. They didn't say a word when we put them in lead bags, not that it would help. They didn't say anything when we separated them, and they didn't say anything when we closed the tomb on top of them. I doubt they'll ever say anything again. I have no doubt that they're still alive, though. The most powerful weapon in the world, armed and loaded, without its trigger. One has the trigger, and one alone. With any luck, it died with him. In the end, we were left in charge, the 8 of us who remained. We picked 5 more of the brightest we could find, and we pushed on. Abaddon was gone, without a trace. There was still so much to do, but we found a way to push forward. We made do, and in the end, we overcame. I still think about the children under San Marco from time to time, about the lengths we went to when we were panicked and afraid, about the things we did, even outside the project. I think about one, too. I wonder if he found what he was looking for. I wonder if he thinks it was worth it. I received a message through the secure system nearly 1 year ago today. I said nothing then, but I'm going to add it to this file now. As for the contents, I'll let others decide. I've said enough.
Command. Upload. Messages. Secure. 1.txt. File upload complete. Now displaying 1.txt.
13. When we were young, you asked me if I thought that our dreams would ever be realized, if we would ever be able to keep the world truly safe and hang it up for good. You asked me if I thought we had the means to do so, or if the means existed at all. You asked me to what lengths must we go, what prices we must pay, and what allegiances we must forge in order to achieve perfection. I did not know then. I do know now. There will come a day when the secrets that the Foundation has tried to hide away will rise up from the shifting sands in glorious appearance, when the subjugated will break free from the bonds of their captors, and when the march of progression will no longer be impeded by those who would huddle around their fires, swatting at the ever-growing shadows. On that day, the Foundation will be cast aside, and all that will remain is purpose. Do you hear the black moon howling 13? You will soon. Viva the insurrection.
Command. Users 0513. Full unlock. Please input Level 5 authorization code. Command. Users 0513. 647-1882. No less than 13. 4677-484. Thank you. This data file is now unlocked. Command. Users 0513. Log out. You are now logged off.